So Edmonton has a new mayor, and that means a whole new playbook for the city. We're going to break down Andrew Knack's Stronger Edmonton plan, what it actually means for your wallet, your commute, and your neighborhood. Let's get right into it.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to, right? Forget the policy documents for a second. How are these changes actually going to show up in your daily life? We're going to connect those dots, from City Hall's vision to the stuff that really matters to you. Okay, so the core philosophy behind this whole new administration, it's all wrapped up in this one simple phrase, a stronger Edmonton. But, what does that actually look like when the rubber hits the road? Well, it's really built on these three big ideas you see right here. First up, making sure the core services we all count on, like snow removal, rec centers, are actually dependable. Second, a huge focus on making public spaces, and especially our transit system, feel safer. And third, really tackling the housing crisis head-on, with a simple goal: get more homes built that people can actually afford.
So the big question is, how is the city going to pay for all this? And that brings us to the money side of things, the fiscal approach. This is all about how your tax dollars are being put to work.
The key word here, and you're going to hear it a lot, is predictable. The main goal is to kind of steady the ship, right? To avoid those giant, out-of-the-blue tax hikes come budget time. Now, what's really interesting here is the strategy. By encouraging more compact growth around transit stops, the idea is to cut down on the long-term cost of building and fixing roads and pipes. It's a strategy a lot of cities are using to fight sprawl. And the hope is that over time, it'll ease the pressure on our property taxes.
All right, next up is a topic that really affects everyone's quality of life: public safety. The plan here goes beyond just promises. It outlines a new approach that you might actually see and feel when you're out and about.
And this isn't a one-size-fits-all plan. It's got multiple layers. First, just more boots on the ground, more visible staff on transit. Second, pairing those teams with social workers, so it's not just about enforcement, it's about offering help. Third is using smart design. CPTED, that's a fancy term for crime prevention through environmental design, which really just means doing common sense things like improving the lighting. And fourth, making these spaces feel alive and welcoming with art and community events, so they're not empty and intimidating.
Now let's talk about one of the most complex, trickiest challenges any city faces: housing. The platform really attacks this from two angles. You've got the big, citywide crisis of affordability and homelessness, and then the very specific issue of infill in older neighborhoods.
To deal with that bigger housing shortage, the plan really centers on a clear, three-pronged approach, and we're going to break that down for you right now.
Okay, so first you have the long game: build and protect affordable housing. Second, you've got rapid actions for people in crisis right now, like more shelter space. And third, and this is absolutely crucial, is prevention. We're talking about programs designed to stop people from losing their homes in the first place. This focus on prevention is a pretty big deal. It kind of represents a shift from just managing a crisis to trying to get out ahead of it.
And then if we zoom in to the neighborhood level, the focus on infill is really twofold. It's about encouraging the kind of homes we actually need more of, places for families or for seniors, while also raising the bar for builders, with stronger rules to make sure new projects are actually being good neighbors.
And what about the often very heated topic of bike lanes? This quote right here really sums up the new stance. The idea isn't to tear up the network or stop building completely. It's more about continuing with what's already planned, but with a much sharper focus on better design and getting real, honest community input so the lanes end up working for everybody.
Okay, so we've covered budgets, we've talked safety, and we've dived into housing. Let's pull this all together and finally answer that first question. What does this actually mean for you? This table really breaks it down nicely. Look, if you're a homeowner, the goal is better-looking streets thanks to stricter infill rules. For renters, it's about creating a healthier market with more choices. If you take the bus or LRT, the aim is for a ride that feels tangibly safer. For seniors, it's about protecting those subsidies that help with the monthly bills. And for pretty much everyone on the road, it's continuing the bike network but doing it smarter. The key takeaway here is that every part of this plan is designed to have a direct, real-world impact.
So that's the playbook: a focus on practical services, safety you can actually feel, and a multi-pronged attack on the housing issue. It really does set a new direction for Edmonton. So the only question left is, with all these plans now in motion, what's the first change you'll be watching for in your neighborhood?